Okay, we gave away our full service for free, and here's how it's going to make us money. So the goal of our campaign with this free service offer was to generate leads and also help us refine our processes and get like real market feedback very, very quickly. And in this video, what you're going to learn is the importance of a strong offer, why you have to track the numbers alongside that offer, and how it's going to help you make decisions moving forward. Chase, you want to dive into what our offer was?
Yeah, so our offer is basically 12 days of Christmas. So what we want to do is pick 12 businesses in Clarksville that we offered this to. And so what it is Hometown Profit will come out to you, and we're going to do a whole month's worth of content in just 1 hour of your time. And so the reason why we limited this to 12 businesses ties into 12 days of Christmas, and it also creates a little bit of urgency as well. And, we've seen some success with this so far, like we're right in the middle of it. So why do we want to do this offer? So we want to bet on ourselves. So if we're doing this and saying that we can do this for you, we want to show you that we can do it for ourselves too. We don't just want to say things, we want to do them as well. We wanted to remove any price objections that people may have. So we want to say, look, we're offering this for free. There's nothing you have to pay. There's no strings attached. And you don't even have to continue with us if you choose to do this. We wanted to do this, and the reason why we did those things is we want to build trust in the community, let people know who we are and the value of the product that we provide. So yeah, you want to kind of dive into a little bit more of the reasons behind what we're doing right now?
Yeah, and to take one quick step back, give some bigger picture context. Like Chase said, we're right in the middle of this right now. So this video, the goal is to give you midway update of like we'll make another video and give you the hard numbers of like what the outcome from this campaign was. We want to show you what we're seeing on the early stages, what the numbers are showing, and what our prediction is. So it'll be a fun way to look at what we predict versus what actually happened later. But with this offer, we really want to collect case studies, get examples, and really just get in the trenches and learn and just see if this offer is even something that people are interested in. And very quickly we saw, just based off the feedback, like, hey, video content services, that is something that local business owners are very aware of that they need and need more of. Because if you don't know, you have to test an offer to see if people even want it first before you do all the building behind it. So that's why low barrier for us, like not charging for that first month is a way to get that volume in, create the flow first, and then add the friction later. And it's been interesting so far. Yeah,
that's a good point you bring up. Is like it's kind of backwards. You kind of put an offer out there, see if people want it, and then if they do want it, you figure out a way to quickly fulfill on what they want. So it's kind of like jumping off the cliff and building the parachute on the way down, which is a lot more fun. Instead of spending months and months building the parachute, making sure all the thread is right, and then you just may never jump. And so, you learn a lot quicker if you just go ahead and take the jump. So
with that said, though, important, so you can't just throw out an offer that you don't feel confident delivering on either. Like that's too, like we know we can deliver on, which is why we're willing to do it for free. But if you just throw something out there that you can't deliver on, all that's going to do is just get you some bad will.
Right, yeah. We want to make promises and be able to keep those promises. So we don't want to make a promise that we're not able to keep. So knowing that you are able to keep them is very important. So don't just say, like, hey, we'll make you $1 million in the next week. Like that won't work. You'll quickly lose all of your personal brand or whatever that is. So let's go over the metrics so far of our campaign, what we started at and what we're doing now.
Yep. So we've spent $300 total in ad spend. So our budget is just $50 a day on Facebook and Instagram ads. And so far we've gotten 30 leads, which you'll get $300, 30 leads. We're paying $10 per lead that we're getting. And a lead, for some context, they see our ad, they click learn more, our page pops up where they scroll through, read it, and then they click the call to action button that says, hey, I'm interested in this service. Here's my information in a little mini application. So we got 30 of those. Of those 30 so far, we've gotten 8 of them scheduled for the trial, and probably will have a couple more trickle through. But so far, looking at those numbers, spent $300, cost us $10 to get one of these leads, and then it's costing us, and you break that down, $37.50 to get a scheduled appointment, which isn't bad.
Right. Yeah, and if you take most small businesses, if you say, hey, I can get you a lead for $37.50, they'll be like, sign me up, I will do that. But people just don't know where to track those numbers at, and it's a matter of, okay, how much are you spending? Where, and the processes that we've put in place, you can actually see, where people fall off, whether it's if you're not getting enough eyeballs on your page for people to convert, well, that's a problem. That probably goes back to your offer. Like people just, your offer isn't sticky enough to drive people there. Or if people are, filling out their information, but they're not actually scheduling a trial, well, that's probably in the reach out, the lead nurture side. So that is where you need to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what does our nurture sequence look like? Are we reaching out to these people quickly enough? Or are we waiting days and then, by that time the leads are cold? So our process and the pipeline that we use, you're able to see exactly where people fall off. And that's kind of one of the things that we are pitching to businesses to be able to show them is this data. Like we want to provide this data for you. So we've talked about the CPL, which is the cost per lead. And now we're going to go into, our predictions for what this is. Because you can have, 30 leads and then 8 of them, the trial scheduled, but what if those 8 never sign up? So what is our prediction? Because right now, like Grant said, we're in the middle. So this is a hypothesis, and you're getting to see behind the scenes of what's going to happen.
Right. So of those 8 we've got scheduled, we predict probably a 25% conversion rate, which means of those 8, we think we're going to make 2 sales off of this campaign. And the key, like what Chase was talking about, when you know your numbers and you know the bottlenecks, you can address those on one end, but also you know how to spend your marketing money. You're not just spending money and saying, I think it's getting me a return. I don't know. I'm getting a lead somewhere. It's like there's no way to scale and grow that way. But when you know these numbers, we can break it down. Like for us, we anticipate making 2 sales off those 30 leads. That means our CAC, our cost to acquire a new customer, is $150. And when you know that number in comparison to everything else, that's how you make decisions.
So, and like Grant said, we have the $300 that we spent on the ad spend. We had 30 leads come in. That gave us a $10 cost per lead. Well, the CAC, what he said, the cost to acquire a customer, is somebody that actually buys. So what we do to figure out that number is you take the total ad spend and you divide it by the number of people that bought. So that would be $300 spent in ad spend divided by the 2 sales that we're predicting to make. And that would give us our CAC, which is the $150. And so, again, if the business owner knows what their lifetime value is, if they're just like kind of a one and done, this may not make sense for them. But if they know, hey, I'm going to be able to get people on, for $80 a month, recurring, whatever, the $150 is worth it because they know the lifetime value is almost $1,000, and so they're spending $150 to make close to 1,000. So it's really a numbers game at that point. But like we said, we're still in the middle of it. So it could be a lot worse. We could get nobody. And if that's the case, we need to go back to our sales process. But it could be a lot better and it could crush. So we'll see.
But the key to all of this is we have data that we're tracking. So regardless, even if this flops and nobody buys, no one likes it, we've still learned so much. We know what offer resonates. We see which part didn't work out. So we did 8 of these. We got no sales. We need to look at how was our fulfillment? Like, did we actually fulfill on all the promises we made? That's where we get that feedback from the actual customers, and we dive into why they didn't continue. And again, maybe it's just not a right fit, or maybe it's like, hey, they needed this, and we didn't even recommend they continue, or it could be a sales problem, or whatever it is. But the key is because we're tracking the data, we know whether it's successful or not, it's helping us move forward. And that's ultimately what marketing should be.
Informed decisions, not just decisions, but informed decisions. So the reason why we're documenting this whole thing is, 1, we want to educate people on offers that sell. So that's the starting point. If you don't have an offer that's, attracting people and making people want to, come in your door, then maybe let's craft something. And we can kind of sit down with you and go over that. The next piece is to highlight like Grant just talked about, highlighting the importance of tracking. I can't tell you the number of business owners I've talked to that say like, okay, what are you spending per month on ad spend? And they'll be like, oh, we're spending anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a month on ad spend. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. How many leads are you getting from that? And they're like, well, can't really tell you. I know that we're getting 100,000 impressions, or we're getting a lot of people visiting to our website. But I can't tell you exactly how much our cost per lead is or any of those things. So what we're doing is we want to kind of peel back those layers and say, all right, this is exactly where your numbers are at. So to build transparency on that, to say like, okay, let's give you control of your marketing numbers. That way you can decide and not just go off a gut feeling anymore. So yeah.
Yep, that's probably two of the biggest levers in your business: strong offers and knowing the metrics. Like, you do those two things, it's pretty hard not to see results.
Right, and then from there, all you have to do is do what you do best, whether that's plumbing or, a flower shop or, a service business, whatever it is. Like, you make the promise. Like, we help you make that promise by the ads that we create and the content, but then it's your job to keep that promise. That way you and you do that by providing the service or the product that you sell, and that way you keep recurring business coming back through.
Because a huge theme of what we do is, like, leads should never be the constraint of your business, like the thing that's holding you back. If you're not growing because you just don't have enough customers, you don't have good leads, like, that is a problem that is so easily solvable when you know your numbers and these offers, and you can just track this to where it becomes an equation. Okay, for every $5 I put into it, I'm getting 25 back. Well, cool, let's do that as much as possible until fulfillment breaks, or you get to as many customers as clients you can handle, and then you go fix that bottleneck. But we should never be lingering at this stage for too long.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, like, with us making these promises and peeling back the layers, if you decide to work with us, like, and you're watching this video, like, I don't really want to work with these guys, you'll quickly see if we're keeping our promise or not, and if you're able to, because we're going to show you the numbers, and it's not just like, marketing is not just some ambiguous number that you throw out there hoping to get business anymore. It's like, okay, we're spending this much, and this is the exact return that we're getting from it. So whether you stay on with us, you would have the decision to make of whether you continue with Hometown Profit or not. We'd love to have you work with us. And we're willing to bet on ourselves again, like we said earlier. So,
and I think that's the big difference maker between our approach and most marketing companies, marketing agencies. Like, we are business owners that are actually doing this as well. So we know the importance of getting a return on these numbers. It's not just, I got impressions. Like, okay, but at the end of the day, like, how does that translate to dollars that I can scale my business with? Yeah,
and it does take more work. We're completely honest. Like, to be able to track all these things, there are some things you have to set up that do take going the extra mile, but that's what we believe in is putting the extra work in. That way you can track it. So by the time you're watching this, we'll probably have our answer on where we're at. So just go watch the next video.
Yeah, and if you need help crafting your offer, tracking your data, running ads, creating content, anything of that sort, reach out to us, follow us for more info, and we'll talk to you soon.